Our next speaker is a good friend of mine who is coming live from his greenhouse, possibly. No, he's not. He's been allowed indoors by the looks of things. This is my good friend Martin O'Neill. He is a solution architect at Kainos, who specialises in Azure solutions, and he is going to talk to us about building Internet of Things platforms on Microsoft Azure. So, Marty, it's with you.
Hi, Peter. Thanks very much for the great intro. No, I'm not in the greenhouse, but I will make the reveal. I am in the garage. They don't let me in the house here. No, I have two young girls. Working with them at home, it's quite challenging, as we all know. So I've resorted to working out of the garage. It's good fun. Okay, so today I'm just going to talk about building IoT platforms. I'm going to take you through the IoT solution that we created for a customer, and then a little IoT solution I've been doing on my own, and how you could get started yourself on building IoT solutions. Okay, so just a little bit about me. I'm an Azure architect. I've been working for Kainos for 11 years. I started working on Azure in 2014, and it's safe to say the platform's really developed since then. And I wouldn't call myself a gardener. I probably have one of the worst gardens around, but I am an amateur grower of fruit and vegetables. And you can find me on Twitter if you want to see my peas and strawberries below. So I'm just going to take you quickly through some of the IoT platforms that are kind of available in Azure, some of the components, and then how we put them together to create a solution. Okay, so really the entry point into Azure for any solution you have is the IoT hub. And this is really the entry point into Azure for your device. And the idea is that you have a small device and the device sends messages up to the IoT hub. And I actually have a small device here. It's just an MX chip. I'll talk about it later. But basically, it's just sending some telemetry information up to an IoT hub in Azure. And the idea of these hubs is that you have millions of devices, and the devices all communicate up to the IoT hub, and Azure handles the high availability, it handles the cross-region, and it's a completely PaaS-based service. It also then allows you to have security per device, rather than having to manage the security yourself. So the next level then is the IoT Edge, and the IoT Edge really is where, instead of a device constantly streaming up to the IoT hub, you do most of the processing on the device itself. And this allows you to reduce network chattiness, and it also allows you to have devices in places where you maybe have low bandwidth, or that you can bring a device down and let it sync up. Here, what you really do is use machine learning to put a computer-trained model onto the device. And the device itself can run a containerized workload. So there is a SaaS-based offering then, rather than, if you want to start building your own solutions inside Azure and managing your own devices, you can use a SaaS-based offering, and that's the IoT Central. And this really allows you to build solutions with very limited experience, but it is the same production-grade application and infrastructure behind the scenes. And it allows you to completely abstract the setting up of any IoT platform, and allows you to get down to what you want to do with your devices. Okay, so one of the use cases that we've had for this in Kainos was that we had an urban data project, and it'll be talked about later on in the week with Bill Wilson, but I thought I would give you a quick background into the platform that we created, and really how the platform all hangs together to create a solution inside Azure. And with the Urban Data Project, we really have thousands of 4 and 5G smart devices, and they send telemetry into the Azure IoT platform. And this is allowing us to create a kind of secure data guardian service. And the idea being that once it's up and running, we'll be able to commercialize data sets and make them available to police services, ambulance services, and that sort of thing. The devices themselves are attached to streetlights, and they connect over 5G, as I've said. So the kind of architecture behind that is here, and I'm just going to walk you through that. So really, it all starts with the MSP device. So the MSP device comes out of a box. It connects to the IoT hub and says, I want to communicate with you. And really, when we're purchasing the devices, we ask the manufacturer to pre-program with the IoT hub destination. And what happens then is the device talks in the IoT hub, which tells it to get its configuration from the device provisioning service. And what that provisioning service will do is it will send down the configuration that's needed for that device. So really, there's no hands-on having to. If you think if we have thousands of devices, we couldn't manually go around and install our solution, and we couldn't update the solution. So that's really what the device provisioning service will do. And the image that we're putting in there is a typical Docker image, and it's held in an Azure Container Registry. So once that comes down to the device will then start sending telemetry into the IoT hub. The IoT hub, then, if you think of it as it's really your gateway entry point into creating a solution in Azure. So typically you have two forms of storage. You have cold storage, which is used for archiving, and you have your hot storage, which is used then for really doing your data processing and the quick analysis of the data. So for us, for the hot storage, we're using Cosmo DB. And really, that allows us to have very quick access to the data. The data will sit in Cosmo DB for around 14 days, and then it'll be removed out automatically. Other data will then sit in blob storage for the life of the kind of project and how long we want it to. And we can re-extract that data into Cosmo DB if we want to do any data analytics. We then use Databricks to analyze the data that's inside Cosmo DB. And really, this is where the data analyst is creating the data sets that we can then commercialize and make available to people. In terms then of the actual application, we're using Azure API management and an API app just to make the data sets available then to the end user. So the platform is all built into Azure, and it's secured with Azure AD. And really, I guess the point I want to make is that if you think of the Azure IT platform as very much the IoT hub allows you to get the data in, and once you're into Azure, you can do anything you want with the data and make available some really cool solutions. Okay, so smart cities is all very good, but during lockdown, I haven't been in a city. I've been sitting in a small town. So what have I been up to? So I've been creating a smart greenhouse. So for me, I'm very, I like to grow fruit and vegetables. I'm not very good at it, but I have plenty of time in my hands. And what better thing to do than wire the greenhouse up for Azure IoT solution, combine my two passions. So really here I have an MX chip, and it sends a signal up to the Azure IoT hub. And that signal is simple telemetry data. I say, because we're in good old Northern Ireland, my solar panel isn't working today, so I've brought the MX chip just into the garage with me. And I'm not sure you can see it, but it just has a reading for the kind of temperature and what the current humidity on the platform is. I'll just give you an example of that later. So how did I go about building this solution? So really, this is the kind of entry point into anyone that's keen on picking up Azure IoT or getting interested in it. The first thing I would pick up is an MX chip. So as I say, it's just a small device. It's programmable, and there is a lot of solutions readily available. I'll give you the link for that later. And really, what this device does is it just allows me to build something and program it to connect up to the Azure IoT hub. Of course, for my solution, I needed a greenhouse and a solar panel. the solar panel hasn't worked out too well, in that it was really good here in Northern Ireland in April and May. It's not working so good in June, and it's not getting enough sun to keep going. So an improvement I have to make is to take that, I guess, solar panel out and replace it with a kind of battery solution. Then you just use VS Code to program the device, as I say. And then within Azure, you're configuring an IoT hub. For this solution, I had IoT hub, Stream Analytics, and then just Power BI. And this is the kind of graph I was able to produce within Power BI. And the temperature actually reached up to 46 degrees at the start, just there in the middle of April. So I'm just going to come out of the presentation for a minute, just give you hopefully a quick tour of the kind of Azure solution that we have for this. So just in the Azure portal, hopefully you can see this. And just this is what they call an IoT hub. So the IoT hub, as I say, there's a lot of configuration items for it, and this is really your entry point into doing anything with Azure IoT. So what I have here is, you can see the messages that my kind of small device is plugging up there. And the idea is that this can scale up to millions of devices. So I'm just using a kind of low value tier at the moment, but I can scale, as I say, I can scale it up as required. So in terms then of using endpoints, it's very configurable in that we can just go in here and we can just add message routes. So I have a very simple message route here for Azure storage. And really what that's doing is it's taking each of the messages from the device and sending it just into an Azure Blob storage. And the kind of result we're getting there is just really the properties of the device and what the temperature currently is. Okay, we'll just hop back to the presentation. Okay, so let's say there's a lot of really good starter kits out there to get used to the IoT platform. Microsoft has an IoT School. Then there's an IoT GitHub Developer Kit. And it really is a good starting point for bringing down samples of IoT solutions and programming the device. As I say, you can pick up these devices on Amazon, or there is a virtual device kit simulator that will allow you to do everything that you can kind of do on the physical device. Some of the other good components about the Azure IoT solution are then the digital twin. So this is bringing out a whole environment and representing it in the virtual world. And that allows us to collate data across physical and virtual and really makes planning and relationships between people and devices quite possible. So if you were making a building, you wanted to check airflow, air quality, really a digital twin is a really good tool. As I mentioned before, the device provisioning service is a really good tool for really configuring your device. And it's a helper service for the IoT and enables you to mass kind of onboard devices onto the Azure IoT solution. And devices can be secured with TMP chips. And we can do geo-sharding if you have devices that are kind of all around the world. Okay, so I guess the last thing I just wanted to say is that on Azure, there are solution accelerators. And these are available, and they're really great for demoing the kind of Azure platform. So these are typical kind of common IoT solutions for common scenarios, and they really allow you to understand the art of the possible and show how real devices can be connected in real world scenarios. Some of them are remote monitoring, connected factory, and as I say, they're really great for demos. Peter, that's me for my presentation. If you want to take back.